Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the May Oil Hub. Thank you all for joining us, and for those that are watching on catch up. Tonight we have some lovely summer recipes and ideas. We've got the lovely Jules talking about lemongrass and the numerous uses, and it's one of her favourite oils, so we're excited to hear about that. We've got Debra talking about natural sun care. We know it's important to protect our skin, but also so many chemicals in sun creams on the market, so we need to watch out for that. So she'll give us a deep dive into what you're putting on your skin and what's in the doTERRA sun care. We've got Alison talking about the Correct X, the handy little travel ointment that sometimes we forget about, but it's a wonderful little tube. And Emma is talking about traveling with oils and a natural bug spray. And she is a traveler, a busy mum and a traveler. So not a traveler is in a traveler, not that type of traveler. But yeah, she travels a lot with the kiddies in tow, and she's always on hand with the first aid oils. And then if we've got time, we're going to look at how our body utilizes energy and how we can maximize our energy in our body. So without further ado, if we start with the lovely Jules with lemongrass.
So lemongrass is the product of the month. So it's a free oil, 15 ml of lemongrass. If we place a loyalty reward, rewards program order for 125 PV or above for this month. But on saying that, even if we don't, it's definitely worth having this and putting it on your next order because I think it's 14 or 15.95. So it's a really reasonably priced oil for 15 ml. When I go through what you can use it for, it really is one that I feel everybody should have. So if we look at it from the emotional side, it's very much a cleanser. So it cleanses, it's a cleanser of energy. It's very good for lethargy. So if we need uplifting in our energy or in our mood, and also anxiety wise, it's very uplifting. Um, it's also can clear away a lot of negativity. So I suppose negative energy in that regard, and also for cleansing the air or purifying the air in the home. Particularly, I really love it in the summer because it's also a really good bug deterrent. So we get quite a few mosquitoes. We've got quite a large pond just down the road from us, so it's really, really handy to diffuse. So on with regards to it being a good bug repellent, it's also really handy to add to, if you have a dog, to add to their shampoo as a flea deterrent. It's something that I've found really, really handy for my dog. And for us, we can actually take it internally as a mosquito repellent. They really, really love me, so I've always been after natural things that I can use um, to repel them, and that's definitely so. It would be 1 to 3 drops in a capsule. I don't necessarily think you would want to take it under your tongue, but in a capsule as a mosquito repellent. One way that I do use it is in a 10 ml roller, 20 drops with 20 drops of clove as a thyroid balancer. So it will, if you roll it over your thyroid, it will, I have a slightly underactive thyroid, and it will balance your thyroid whether your thyroid is under or overactive. So it really is an amazing oil to use that way. So I've always got a roller made up in my bag. And then we've got it as a way of helping with pain. So it is really, really good to alleviate tendon and muscle pain. It can actually help with damaged ligaments as well. And I listened. I heard from a talk by Boyd Truman, who said that to mix lemongrass with the Aroma Touch blend for nerve help with people with fibromyalgia. So it really is an all round oil, and one that we should all keep and use. So yeah, so that's lemongrass.
Wonderful, Jules. Thank you. I'm so glad you mentioned thyroid. You forget how good it is in so many ways. So,
Mm.
and one of the cheapest oils, but so
Yeah.
special, isn't it? Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm sure
very.
we'll all be getting the lemongrass out, especially for the negative energy. I need 2 bottles. Um, so now we're going to move on to our little wonder tube, which is Correct X, and over to Alison.
Right. I'm in trouble there with my unmute. Right. I think you can hear me. So yeah, I'm just doing a little bit about this very tiny little tube called Correctex, and it's like your replacement for your Germaline, your Savalon, things like that. It's the thing you reach for in your medical cabinet or your first aid box when someone's got a bump or a scrape. And I've been using it a while now, and I did actually look into. I thought, why is it so good? And it's because of the oils it's got in it are really good for skin irritation and also enhancing, sort of speeding up the healing process. So the top oil it has in it is frankincense, which that is also very good for scars and things like that. And it supports your immune system while the wound is healing and speeds up the time of healing. It also has the helichrysum, which a lot of you know is like the liquid plaster. So that helps stop the bleeding. And it also has the antibacterial, antiviral, antioxidant properties in it as well. Then they've also put some tea tree in there, which is antimicrobial. So that's fighting the infection if you've got a wound. And also it'll reduce your swelling. And it also affects your chemical messengers that cause the inflammatory response, which causes things to swell. So it helps calm them down a little bit as well. And you've also got cedarwood, which again, anti-inflammatory. And it's also sort of a calming and relieves tension, because often when you've hurt yourself, it feels tight, doesn't it? And you hold yourself funny as well, don't you? So it kind of helps calm. Lavender, which, I mean, the other day, anybody who follows me on Instagram knows that the other day I scolded myself with a hot cup of tea. Lavender is the most amazing thing for calming that down and helping decrease the pain. So that's in there as well. And now this is one that I don't really know much about, but it says bisabolol. But what that is it's actually the main constituent of your German chamomile essential oil. So they've taken that out. And that again is reducing your skin inflammation and your sensitivity to pain. And jojoba oil, which is actually a wax, and it's extracted from the plant. And it says that the liquid wax in it is closely resembling the skin's natural oil. So that's why when you squeeze this, although it's got all the oils in it, it doesn't come out as a liquid. It's quite solid and doesn't obviously run off. So that's what keeps it on your skin and hydrates your skin while the other oils are healing and soothing. And then there's this other one, which is called phellodendron. I'm not going to say the other word back. Now, that's a herb used in Chinese medicine, which is also an anti-inflammatory. So when I looked into this, I was absolutely amazed at what was actually in it. And I can't say it doesn't sting slightly when you put it on a wound. But the other day, my little boy had some sore skin in between his toes. And the first day I put it on, he was like, oh, wow, wow. And I said, so just take a little breath and it'll go away. The following day, he shows me his toe and he goes, are you going to put some more on, Mum? But that was all it needed. It didn't need a third day's worth of putting it on because of the amazing oils and the healing properties they had. It soothed it. So it is a definite, if you're sort of thinking, oh, but it won't work. Some people just rely on Germaline, don't they? They're like the go-to. It's like, does it work as what it does? It's very, very good. And it's got quite a unique smell, but not an unpleasant smell. And like I say, it doesn't run. And although it's in an absolutely minute tube, which is always in my handbag, in my travel case, things like that, it goes miles. You only need a right little bit. So well worth having a go if you haven't already used it.
Alison, that was amazing. I really didn't know all of those ingredients and that bisabol or whatever it is and the other thing. Yeah, it is really a wonderful concoction, isn't it? And jojoba wax. And yeah, it feels like you can put it straight on. I shouldn't say that, put it straight on an open wound, but it feels like you can because it's so gentle. But obviously, do what you need to do. And now we're going over on the similar vein with things that are for traveling. The lovely Emma Davis.
Hello. So if you've been following my statuses or Instagram or anything, you might have seen I've been away. And we got back last week. We went to France for 2 weeks and it was fabulous. And the weather was great and there was only one rainy day. So I was really happy with it. But these are the oils that I brought. And it's a list, right? But this is the most essential one. And actually, I nicked it from my son because he went camping last summer and he asked me to make him up his own spray, his Terra Shield. We called it Bug Be Gone spray. And this is his bottle. And to show you how long it lasts, and we used it all fortnight. And we used it all summer last year. And it is just halfway, not even halfway. And this is a recycled 15 ml bottle that we've put the little spray top on. So it's brilliant. If you want to know where those are, EO supplies, fabulous. But I made this out of, I'll give you the ingredients. There's 8 to 10 drops. I believe I would have put 10 drops knowing me, of Terra Shield, 1 tablespoon of FCO, fractionated coconut oil, and then the remainder of this 15 ml. So this is bearing in mind it's 15 ml. So if you've got different size bottles, do it accordingly. A spray bottle, it's distilled water. And that has lasted us absolute ages. And all we're doing, because the fractionated coconut oil is in it, we're able to spray it directly onto our skin. There's already, I believe, fractionated coconut inside the Terra Shield blend anyway. So it's just that added thing. And the oils that are in it are just superb. So here's how I know it definitely works. My son asks for it and he wouldn't ask for it if it didn't help him. That's one thing. But the other thing is we were staying in a conservation area and where we were in a caravan park, all French people, we were the only English speaking ones there and the place was full. So it was epic, right? We knew we were in a good spot. But it was a conservation area. There was bugs everywhere, flies everywhere. We were right by the trees and a field on the side of us. So there was no chance, right? I only got bitten one day, and it was the one day I forgot to spray it. So it just showed me it was working because all the other days I had nothing on me. And I was using it in the caravan, I was using it outside when we were sitting on the deck having our food. So it just showed me this was powerful. However, the bites that I had were annoying. I had one right here on my face, all gone. And what helped me was copaiba. I had copaiba with me. I would have gone for lavender too, but copaiba is just so beautiful for inflammation on the skin. It also supports the skin as well. So I thought, I always try lavender. Let's try copaiba and see what happens. And absolutely helped to just calm it down. And the next day, it was you barely even saw it. And the day after that, it was gone. So I was really pleased with that. And I just thought those are definite ones for travel. There's a thing that I've been doing the last few times, the last twice that we've gone away to France, is having a bottle of the Terra Shield blend with me and a bottle of citronella. And what I do might sound a bit weird, but bear with me. You know when you sit outside and you're on like the wooden bench and the wooden table and chairs and you're sitting and you're loving your food. Let's face it, there were baguettes and there were olives and there were all kinds of salads and it was just really lovely. And there was red wine or rosé and it was just so nice. Well, instead of having a citronella candle, which I'm not a big fan because I don't always know what kind of wax is in them and want to protect the environment too. I literally just opened my bottles and put a couple of drops on the wood and left my bottles open on the table. They hate the smell. They hate it. So they all just went off. I even watched one of them think about my food. And then because it was really close to my plate, the bottle of TerraShield to the side of it, and it just went off. I didn't like it. So it's just a little tip. You don't even have to use the drops if you don't want to. Open the bottle, leave it sitting in front of you. They don't like the smell. So that was really handy. And then other oils that I found really useful, and this is why. So like, the TerraShield was helpful for bites, insects, mosquitoes. The citronella was helpful for that too because it deters them. Lavender and copaiba were handy for when I did get bitten, I could support the inflammation. But it's also handy for things that might crop up, like if there's pain or if someone's hurt themselves, and like earlier with skin peeling. I did bring our Balance and Citrus Bliss roller because let's face it, when you're traveling 8 hours or plus, there's going to be meltdowns in the car. So even if I'm the human diffuser and I am putting it on myself and it's for somebody else in the car, it's going to help them. So that helps. And I always have them in my by the side of my handbag on these little things. So I've got my On Guard hand mist, and I have my little doTERRA bag, which doesn't have to be the Wellness Africa, it just happens to be mine. And inside I've got my flute, my Balance and Citrus Bliss, my lavender, my pure fume that I like to wear. So those kind of things are really handy. I do also have oils inside the bag too. The deep blue stick comes everywhere. Serenity stick comes everywhere. And then we did have this, right? This, I'm going to call it the marriage saver today. I forgot to bring our room spray, our room freshener for the bathroom. So as you can imagine, when you're sharing a loo with boys, and I had that side of the caravan, and my mother-in-law and Tegan had the other side of the caravan, and they were in the girly side, and I was in the boy side. So I was so glad. This sounds like quite silly, but I do bring this on holidays with me. It's really cute and small. It can be a bubble, it can be this. I can't remember the name of this one. And I call it my little marriage saver because Serenity saved the day. I put it on the little sensor, so whenever somebody walked in, and it was just epic. Cam always comes with me, especially when I know that my period's due. So that's a really useful one that I found handy. Zengest, it's so important to bring when you go abroad because the water is different. So I never actually drink the water when I'm in a different country. I will buy bottled water. However, if your tummy gets funny from any foods that you might have had, maybe spices that you're not used to, or the water is a little bit different, Zengest will help you immediately. And I would actually consider bringing your coconut oil if you can, or even put it in a little container for the couple of weeks, and bring the oil rather than just the roller. Because for me, the oil made more sense. I was able to put it in my belly button. My mother-in-law used it and found it really powerful. She was amazed by it. So it's the oil blend I found actually more useful to us. And you could bring them in the little sample bottles if you wanted. You don't have to bring the whole bottles if you don't want to. By the way, you can travel on airplanes with your oils because I did that in January to Ireland. But just be aware of the sizes and how many mils you've got. And it's totally up to you if you want to tell them it's for medicinal reasons as well. So that could be useful. And then fractionated coconut, definitely. And then, of course, my hubby had his own personal blends, so we always bring them with us. That supports him with his issues. But I know a few of you here have a love for the TerraShield as well, and if you're wanting to share them later, maybe you might want to do that. But there's some really, really good ones, especially when it comes to bins and when you're outside. And yeah, there's lots of those kind of tips with TerraShield. So I would say that's definitely one to take when you go away.
Emma, that was wonderful. Really good reminders for us when traveling. Definitely Zengest, I agree with you. So useful. Such an all-rounder, isn't it? Travel sickness and all that kind of thing. So yeah, thank you for reminding us.
Yeah, in the car, exactly. I forgot, and also the ferry. So yeah,
a
then
good
dress
shout
all
with
the way.
the Terra Shield on the table outside. Never thought of that.
Yeah. So you know when it's the wooden tables, you can literally
Yeah.
just put a couple of drops. It's
Yes.
natural and it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
That is a good idea. Lovely. Now we're going over to Deborah, who's going to discuss every month we have 10% off an oil, and it's a good opportunity to get that oil with 10% off. So that is Rosemary, and then she's going to talk about the natural sun care. Let me just do that. Go. I'll just share the screen for you one moment.
Thank you. So yeah, Rosemary, it's 10% off in the month of May. And I have to say, it's something I actually used this morning with Jules's lemongrass for my knee. It is a fantastic oil. It's also an oil, if we struggle with concentration, which I most definitely do, then this is a beautiful oil to use. It's an oil if we perhaps have a test or we really need to remember something important. It's also a fantastic oil that's going to support that. So imagine it's going to support our focus and concentration. It's going to encourage our memory and alertness, ease mental fatigue. And how many of us, we're only on Monday, but how many of us just feel drained this evening? Well, probably most of us. So rosemary can really, really help with this. Also, it's really, really refreshing, and it is multifaceted. So we can diffuse it when perhaps at work, when studying, driving, we're needing a little bit more clarity in our day. This is a great one. Also, being not a one-trick pony, we can use it for healthy looking hair, and we could add just a few drops to our shampoo, and we can make up our own rollerball, apply it to temples, wrists, our neck, if we want to remain alert and focused. We can inhale directly from the bottle, and this is just going to boost all our senses. But also in cooking, it is a great one. It is incredibly powerful. So obviously the toothpick again, but it is a fantastic oil to use. And in the essential emotions, it says is for people who feel perhaps at times confused. We have difficulty adjusting or transitioning. So imagine we've moved house or we've moved halls, moved schools or whatever it might be, moved jobs, then this is a really beautiful oil in hopefully supporting that. It says by using it, we're going to have mental clarity, knowledge, become more teachable, enlightened, open to new experiences, and the ability to adjust. So 10% off. And it is the kind of thing, I think it's one of those oils that to have in our kind of like in our arsenal is a really fantastic oil for the entire family to use. And then we at hopefully the time at the moment where we're going to be using natural sun care. And I know in the past, which I've mentioned having skin cancer numerous times, I've been told for the last probably 14 years I have to wear sun cream all year round. So you go and buy a really, really good quality one, but you have no idea it's got things like oxybenzone in, phthalates, chemicals, all these terrible things that are really like hormone disruptors, really kind of harmful to us. So I was truly kind of blessed when I came across doTERRA years ago, and it had this beautiful natural sun care range. And if we look at so many things about it, I don't know, there's a plethora of beautiful oils in each. So if somebody is looking for perhaps a face cream and a suntan cream, then I think the Face Mineral Sunscreen, I have it upstairs in my bedroom, is a fantastic one to have. It's got things like magnolia, frankincense, helichrysum, red mandarin, carrot seed. And then we've got the Body Minerals sunscreen, which I always have. I've got them dotted around the house. So that's got a Lang Ylang, blue tansy, sandalwood. So for many of us, if we think about these oils, these are luxurious, kind of like special oils, and they're all going into this. So not only are they going to protect us, but it's going to be nourishing, really soothing, just beautiful for the skin. And I used them all last summer. Well, what summer we had. And it was it was just really, I felt replenished. My skin felt replenished. And then we've got the Face and Body Minerals sunscreen lotion. So it could be that you prefer a spray. It could be that you prefer a stick or you prefer a lotion, obviously doTERRA have us all covered. So the Face and Body Minerals has frankincense, lavender, coriander, helichrysum. And every time I read these, I hear the word frankincense, I hear the word helichrysum, and I'm just absolutely thrilled and delighted. And then we've got the lip balm. So the lip balm comes, and you'll notice it's pretty teeny, but honestly, a little goes a long way. And I've still got mine from last year. And this has got the beautiful copaiba, which is nourishing and protecting, lavender, lemongrass. It is delightful. And then the next image should be the after sun. And this is absolutely outstanding. It has a plethora of oils in, and then it has things like arnica and so many things. So imagine you've been out, you've been on holiday and you've had too much sun in the day. I feel I've had a bit of sun today. It's been really sunny this afternoon. You're just literally going to spray, and it is absolutely so, it just feels really healing. And all these are reef safe, vegan friendly. So there's something for everybody, and it is a great thing. And I got all these, I've got loads of them. I got all these last year, and they're still mostly full. So the After Sun, soothing, hydrating, refreshing. So it's got aloe vera, hyaluronic acid, green tea, vitamin E. Now, that's one thing my surgeon would always say to me years ago after every surgery. Debra, make sure you use vitamin E because it's so replenishing, nourishing, soothing, really good for scar tissue. And the fact it's in the After Sun, I was absolutely thrilled and delighted. It's got arnica, which we know is a beautiful homeopathic remedy for wound healing, soothing, calming. I mean, there's a plethora of things there. So definitely stock up. And if you're thinking of going away or you are experiencing hot weather, which I'm hoping we're going to in the future, I know we've had it this weekend, then there is something for everybody, as I keep saying. It is a beautiful range, and it's completely and utterly natural, which is a delight, unlike the store-bought.
Thank you, Debra. It's just good to know exactly what's in there. I was going to share this slide at the end for you with the prices as well. There we go. Sorry, I've had to go between two screens.
No, I'm sorry, it's my fault.
No.
Yeah, so the After Sun, I've still got probably half a can left, and that was £33 last year. But do you know what? I think back to when I first got burnt about 15, 16 years ago. You honestly cannot put a price on your health. And I think about all the time I've had of work with having skin cancer 6 times. And I just feel like being protected is not a luxury, is it? So then we've got the face cream, which will last for numerous months, is 75. You've got the body spray, which is here, and mine's still nearly full, £30.50. The face and body, £30.76. And then the little lip balm is £12.50. And it does come, and you do think, oh, that's quite small. But I have to say, it's lasted me since last year.
Yeah.
And a little goes a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for sharing those. I do love the lip balm, and you get caught out sometimes when you're out in the sun and you think, oh, my lips are a bit chapped because of the sun. So it's really important to protect the lips. We forget, don't we, sometimes?
Do you know what? Can I just say, and that was my last surgery where they took a chunk of my lips out, honestly. So actually, when I saw the lip balm, I thought, oh my goodness, because we don't always think of it, do we? We think, oh, we'll just do my face and our chest and arms and legs. But actually, our lips are equally as important.
Yeah, and it's a different type of skin, so it is important, to apply that as well. And then the daily moisturizer will replace your moisturizer, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And also, so not only getting like a beautiful moisturizer, but also you're protected from the sun as well.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you very much. Okay. So I'll stop sharing. There we go. And I'm just going to try and do a shorter presentation so you can get on with your evening while it's still light. This is what we did for one of the summits that some of the doTERRA people had on. So I just thought I'd share the insights into how our body uses energy. So let me just spotlight again and share Chrome tag energy. Share. Hopefully, if you can see that full screen, Can you see that, Deborah, full screen? Just give me a thumbs up. I can only see your face.
I can.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Okay, so you may remember this from your science lessons. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another form. So if that is the case, where's the energy gone in our bodies? Where is it? We really need to tap into our energy source. So that's what it's all about today. So yeah, common symptoms are feeling a bit foggy, a bit wired, but exhausted, just tired in general. And some of the things that may drain our energies from day to day, some of these things we can actually make a point to sort it out, whether it's an inconsistent routine, maybe we've got chronic stress, maybe we're around negative people and that makes us tired. I know it does for me. Energy drainers. Have you ever been with someone that's like, oh, I'm exhausted, you have to go and have a lie down? Blood sugar spikes, crashes, maybe we're using caffeine or sugar to really keep us going. We could be lacking in nutrients, could be anemic. We need to make sure we're supplementing right. It could be emotional load. We've got a lot on our minds and that just drains our energy. It could be toxic exposure, toxic load. We know the importance of making sure that we have as clean as body as possible so we're not having to deal with all that. Saying yes too often. I think, yeah, Alison said the whole list is me. Very good. Saying yes too often, I think, is something that we all do as women. So some of these we can definitely improve on. So you might want to make a note of some of those things. But aside from that, there's something we can do with the internal workings of our body to help to make the energy run more efficiently. So meet the little factories in your body. We've got loads of these, thousands of them. And the factory is called mitochondria, and it lives inside our cell. And basically what goes in is food, and oxygen helps it run. And then it's converted. You can see what comes out of the factory. Energy comes out. And that is, if you just remember nothing from this, ATP is like our body's energy currency. It's like the pounds or the sterling, if you will. And that currency is made inside our cellular factories. So these little mitochondria are really important for us. But it's important that our mitochondria are working well, because like in normal life, an efficient factory makes production of whatever it produces run well, and it makes enough of it. So we've got, as we've said, what goes into the factory. We've got the food and the oxygen, which converts the energy to this ATP. And then that's our usable energy. That's our currency. So let's say we've only got so much in the day, and that's used for our thinking ability, movement, and also functioning for every cell in our body. So it's really important that the currency, say we only have a certain amount of money every day in our normal life, but also we have only a certain amount of energy as well, which is why the first slide of the drainers of energy is important, to just make note of anything that's like pulling us down. And then let's look at when all three work together, it works really well. So we've got the production, we make the energy using these little factories of mitochondria. Also, it's important that that energy is produced in a good factory. So it needs to be efficient. The mitochondria needs to work well. We also need to have not many toxins to sort of pull it down, stop it working, stop it functioning. And things like oxidative stress can stop the function of it as efficient as it should be. The factory also needs to adapt to stress and demands of the body, because not every day, we're not evenly balanced all day. We have stresses, we have highs and lows, don't we? Sometimes we're running on adrenaline and we need to work, our body needs to work efficiently still. So for our factory to run well, we need a good supply. It needs to work, the machinery itself needs to work well, and it also needs to handle pressure, so adaptation. So we're going to look at how we can do this and why we feel drained. So this is a factory or a mitochondria in our cell that's not working well. It's got too much pressure on it. It's not efficient. The machinery is not working as it should, the inner workings of the mitochondria, but also it's overloaded. The demand exceeds the capacity that it has. And you look at what comes out the factory, less energy. So a factory that's under that constant pressure with not enough rest, things start to slow down. And do we feel that in our bodies? We're feeling slow ourselves. When the system is under pressure, it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Have you ever had a computer with all the tabs open and it freezes? It's a bit like that, really. It can't cope with all that. So the goal isn't to push the factory harder, it's to support it properly and make sure it's working better. And to do that, I mean, there's a way that we can increase energy immediately, and that's short term, which is caffeine and also sugar. We've looked at that, and that really forces the factory to work quickly, but it's only short term. It's a short term energy spike. It does add more stress to the system, and it can lead to a crash in the end and fatigue. So it works fast for a little while, and then boom, crash. What we really need to do is to support the factory to run better, support the energy production, strengthen the system, and then this can produce sustainable energy throughout the day. So rather than pushing the factory to work harder, we're fixing the machinery inside the factory, if you will. Okay, and to do that, we have Mito 2 Max, and particularly Metapower Mito 2 Max. We used to have a supplement called Mito 2 Max alone, and that is discontinued now because this is the better version. They're always improving all the time. And that was a wonderful version, don't get me wrong, but this is even better. And what Mito 2 Max is, it can seem a bit scientific, but if you just think of the mitochondria, your factory, your energy factory, it's making the mitochondria, it's maximizing it basically. And when you look at the ingredients in here, you can even type this in. If you go to Google and just type in doTERRA Metapower Mito 2 Max and you type in PIP, you get the information page with all the inner workings, all the ingredients there. And I've just highlighted a few that will just show you just how wonderful they are. We've got PQQ, QO10, and acetyl L-carnitine. So PQQ helps to create new mitochondria. We've got some adaptogenics, which is like cordyceps and ginseng, and we're going to talk about what they do just to help the mitochondria work well. So that's just basically a snapshot, vitamin B5 and much, much more. So as we've said, like a factory, we need the right nutrients, oxygen, and the cell itself around the factory needs to be healthy. So now we're going to look at maybe 4 of these ingredients in the Mito 2 Max that supports the machinery. So we've got CoQ10, which supports energy production, the PQQ, which supports the new mitochondria, and I'll show you on the next slide. It's amazing what we've found out from this. Alpha lipoic acid, which provides antioxidant protection, so protects the surrounding cell from oxidative stress. And then we've got the adaptogens that support stress resilience. So these really support how our cells produce energy. So let's start with CoQ10. Think of this as the spark plug that helps support the energy, the spark plug, the engine driver. And it plays a direct role in how our cells produce energy, like the spark that helps the factory generate power. And without enough of it in our bodies, our system can't run efficiently. So that's the reason that has been put into this supplement. Then we have the PQQ, and I was amazed by this because not only does it support the actual mitochondria, but it's one of the few known substances that can trigger the creation of new mitochondria within aging cells. So it actually duplicates itself and it creates more mitochondria, more factories. So that increases our capacity and therefore increases our energy potential. So that's amazing. Build more factories. And then we've got alpha lipoic acid. This is our maintenance guy. You've got to think of this as protecting ourselves. And as our body produces energy, it naturally goes through stresses, wear and tear, like a wear and tear on a machine. So we need the maintenance guy to come in and just help maintain the machinery. And that's what the alpha lipoic acid does, which is amazing, isn't it? So we've got a maintenance guy, we've got a spark plug, we've got somebody building more factories, all in this little bottle. And then we've got the adaptogens. So we looked at ginseng, cordyceps. These are substances that support the stress response. And if you want to look at an analogy, think of it as a shock absorber, just to help to sort of help with the bumps, really. So even the most robust factory can falter under constant pressure. So what adaptogens do is they assist the body in adapting to stress and preventing this burnout and help with energy regulation. So they function like shock absorbers for our system. They don't eliminate the pressure, but they kind of just absorb it and help it to run more efficiently. So instead of every bump and stress impacting us, it's absorbed gently, allowing it to continue to flow smoothly, the energy. So, and that we've just picked out 4 ingredients there. We could deep dive them all, but we'd be here all night. So you're welcome to do more research if you want. But just safe to say that this combination, it helps our energy production, protection and resilience. So you're supporting the system from those multiple angles that we've looked at: adapting to stress, we've looked at duplicating the mitochondria, and also protecting the factory itself and the inner workings of it. So a little suggestion: just like a factory, a well-run factory, our bodies, we are factories, aren't we? So in the morning, we need to start up, get everything running. By midday, we may need to maintain it. And by the evening, it's important that we shut down and repair, just like a good factory. We don't want to be working 24/7. So our body needs rhythm. Just to remember that. We're not like a 24-hour Asda that's open all day. It's really important to restore that system. And then our body will create more energy efficiently. So in summary, it's about supporting the processes, really. If the factory is underpowered, inefficient and struggles with being productive, then it may be the tiredness, the mental fog, and we over rely on caffeine and things like that. So Mito2 Max can help support the machinery, the mitochondria inside, the fuel system, and promotes the production at a cellular level. So think of a factory that operates efficiently without that constant fuel spike. And I've really found this, it works well when used over time. So it's not just a quick fix like coffee. And here's a little routine, a suggested routine if you want to start with the Mito2 Max. For those that are on the lifelong vitality, they may feel similar with the energy levels because of all the wonderful things in the lifelong vitality. And if you are on that, or if you're on the VMG, then you can add Mito2 with that. So you can add 1 Mito2 Max with your morning meal, up to about lunchtime you can take it. So with either of the supplements that you're on, you can add this just to add that extra addition to that, and it's just going to help the mitochondria work even better. So it is been targeted particularly for the energy, even though the supplements that you take may help. This is like a turbo boost, I think, like Jules said there. Good analogy there. So yeah, start in the morning, but it's not a quick fix. So don't think, oh, I'm just going to take a Meta Power as a one-off and then forget about it. It's really important that you rebuild. It's a rebuilding process with the little mitochondria. It takes time for them. So give it 2 to 3 months. Start with 1 a day. You can build up to 2 if you wish. And there's oils that can help support it as well. We've got peppermint for alertness during the afternoon. Support while the mitochondria is getting more efficient. You want to be using peppermint, wild orange and balance to help ground. So while the factory's having its repairs, you can work on your oils, using the oils to help with energy there. And then by 2 or 3 months, give it a try. I noticed myself the difference when I didn't use it for a week. I was floored. I had to go to bed. I thought, what's wrong? And I hadn't been taking my Mito 2 Max. So that was my personal story with it. It really helped me. I used to be napping quite a lot, and I don't need the nap anymore. So that's good. Yeah, as I said, there's so much there. And one more thing I always forget, it's not just about energy, because it really helps with our cognitive function. So we looked at the PQQ that helps to create the new factories, but also researchers indicated that it also enhances the blood flow to the cerebral cortex, the area of the brain that's responsible for attention, cognition, and memory. And also the acetyl L-carnitine is known for it being neuroprotective, cognitive enhancing, antidepressive properties. Just let Vanessa in. Yeah, there's so much there, but yeah, we can go to town on it. But I think particularly for me, I felt sharper mentally, quicker with solving problems, maybe at work and things like that. I felt more ideas and things like that. Definitely sharper on a cognitive level there. So I will stop sharing, and thank you all for listening, and then just open it up to questions and just have a look at the chats. Thanks all for listening.